Okay, Chapter 12. The boys and Officer Marks got back to the station and headed into Chief Bond's office with a duffel bag. Rusty was with them. "Well, you boys had quite a day, I heard," said the captain. "I sure didn't expect the results this soon," he added, as Officer Marks put the bag on the chief's desk. Lieutenant Weldy entered the chief's office to see what was going on. "What have you there, Chief?" asked Weldy. "Did you guys bring us all lunch?" he asked with a laugh. "Well, we thought it was your turn to buy," said Officer Marks with a big smile. "I think that would be a good idea," said the chief. "Look at what's inside the bag," asked the chief of Lieutenant Weldy. He walked up to the desk and pulled the zipper back and looked inside, and his eyes got bigger and bigger. "Where did you find all this loot?" he asked of Marks. Without wanting to give away too much, the chief chimed in. "Well, there was a plan put together by a couple of friends of ours to see if we could find all the money from the bank robbery of 10 years ago. It was before your time, and Officer Marks's time as well. Today was the first result of that plan, but I was not expecting to have results in just a few days, that's for sure," added the chief. "How much is in the bag?" asked Weldy. "Well, half of it, $10,000, replied the chief. "That is a pretty good day's work, I would say. Don't you two young men think?" added the chief. He looked directly at Timmy and Ben. "Yes, Chief, we do," said Timmy. Both boys were grinning ear to ear that their plan had begun to get results. "Lieutenant Weldy, what I'm about to tell you stays in this room, understand?" stated the chief firmly. "These two young deputies were instrumental in solving the Applegate case and finding the $750,000 from last Friday, and us learning about John Applegate." He went on. "Timmy, Ben, and Rusty, the dog over there, have taken quite an interest in police work and have done a great job in only 5 days on the job. I would say that's a pretty remarkable thing," he concluded. "Well, you're right about that, Chief," added Officer Marks. "Great job, boys." "Wait," said Weldy. "You mean these two young fellows have solved a big case and also a 10-year-old bank robbery case in just 5 days on the job?" he said with great surprise. "Well, that's about the size of it," said the chief. "It looks like these two young guys are my best new hires since I've been here," he added with a laugh. "Who would have thought that?" "Well, I'll be," said Lieutenant Weldy. "Nice to meet you, boys. And I guess I'm about to be out of a job soon," he said, with a smile directed at Timmy and Rusty. "All that college and training I've had, and you beat me out of the 2 biggest cases in town?" he stated. "Don't worry," said the chief. "Your job is safe. But it is clear that with some backup, these boys are really onto some good detective work for sure," added the chief. The chief sat for a moment in silence and just looked at the bag of money on his desk. Everyone was wondering what was on the chief's mind. "Well, now we just have to find out where the other $10,000 is hidden and see where that takes the end of this case," he thought out loud. "I don't think that will be as easy as this was," interrupted Timmy. "That lucky break was just to find the building out behind the old Wilcox factory, and we just checked it out. Officer Wilcox." "That's Officer Marks, was the one to look behind the papers on the clipboard on the door and see the locker numbers and the possible combinations. We sure didn't expect to see the name Allen on that sign-out sheet. That was the tip-off," Timmy concluded. "That was it," said Ben. Everyone took a chair and pulled him up around the chief's desk. What could be their next move? "Well, boys," began the chief, "what do you think we should do next?" he asked. Ben looked at Timmy. "It won't be this easy to find the next $10,000, said Ben, and Timmy agreed. "I would say," Timmy began, "that I don't think the Allen boys left the money out in the open, or left it out in the elements of snow and rain for 10 years, he began. "They knew the plant could be safe, and then when it closed down, they probably thought no one would ever look in there, and they could just come back and get it," he added. "Probably so," said the chief. "We should be looking at any other places the Allen boys worked and see if they might have had a chance to hide it there," he stated. "Lieutenant Weldy," began the chief, "I want you to do some checking on the QT and talk to anyone who knew the Allen family and see if they knew of any places of employment the boys might have had before the robbery," directed the chief. "Can you do that for us?" he asked. "Sure, Chief, I'll get right on it," he said as he got up and left the room to begin his work. As Weldy got to the door, the chief said to Weldy, "Get a copy of the high school yearbook out at the high school and talk to the teachers and principals that might be there today and see if they remember any other students who were friends of the Allens and if they have any stories to tell about them," he added. "Someone will know where the boys worked after high school, and we can start there." "On it, Chief," said the lieutenant, going out the door. "Well," asked the chief, "what are your plans for the rest of the day?" he asked. "I don't think we've really thought about anything else today," said Ben as he looked at Timmy. "Well, how about I buy you boys and Officer Mark some lunch today?" offered the chief. "That would be great," the boys added with great excitement. "Where would you like to go?" the chief asked. "Well, that's an easy choice," said Timmy. "We really like Miller's ice cream shop," said Ben. "We sure do," added Timmy. "Well, then, Miller's it is, Officer Marks. Will you drive us?" asked the chief. "Yes, sir, no problem," he said with a smile. They all headed out of the chief's office and told the desk sergeant they would be back in about an hour. Out the front door they went, including Rusty.